The KTM 390 Adventure motorcycle comes with a very short, small windscreen. It's adjustable for about 1.5 inches, and that's all. So what I found out is that the wind was just hitting me right in the chest and the neck area. I needed to get something that would buffet the wind a little bit more, because I do record videos and I have my camera and my microphone right where the wind was hitting. So I went out and did a little bit of research, and I bought a larger windscreen. If you'd like to see what I bought and how I installed it, stick around for this video. Well, one thing I discovered right off the bat when I bought my 390 Adventure is that the windscreen in the front is very small. So I was wondering, is it going to really work or not? Is it going to deflect the wind, and especially the noise? Now, when I record, I use a GoPro camera on my helmet and a little microphone inside. And when I first got the bike and I went out for a ride and I was recording my ride, I went back home and listened to it. Boy, I could really hear the wind. And I think it's because the wind goes off this top of the windshield and it hits me right in the neck, right where the GoPro camera sits. So I went home after buying the bike, and I knew that this was an adjustable windshield, but it's really not adjustable much. This is in its lowest spot, and if you take it off, there's a little bolt right there. You can move it up to another spot right about here, but that only moves it up about 1.5 inches or 2 inches at the most. So it doesn't really change it that much. It helps, but it's still, you get blown around a lot with the wind and you get a lot of wind noise. So I started to scour the internet for alternative windshields for the 390 Adventure, and there are some out there, but it's really hard to tell how good they are, if they work, if they even look good, or if they're easy to install. Fortunately, another YouTuber, ADV Matt, hello Matt, if you're watching this, he did a YouTube video where he's tried a couple of windshields, and the one that he recently bought is a Puig, which I went out and got based on his video also, and it's reasonably priced. I believe I paid around $105 or so for this. I'll check and put it down here in the screen. And I haven't installed it yet, but it looks fairly straightforward to install. One thing that I like about this is I think it's going to use the same installation. So if I take this off, it's going to use the same bolts to install. I don't have to drill any new holes, put any extra frame on. So that's a plus. A couple of the other ones I saw, they come in 2 parts that you have to buy separately to fit. So I'm going to go ahead and put this thing on and see what it looks like. Removal of the stock windscreen is pretty straightforward. Just remove the hex nut in the center of the windscreen that holds it onto the windscreen frame. Next, pry out the 2 rubber grommets at the top of the windscreen that hold the windscreen onto the frame as well. Third, pry the 2 tabs at the bottom of the windscreen that hold the windscreen onto the windscreen frame, being careful not to break the tabs. Well, using a screwdriver, I was able to pop the glass off. You can see there's little tabs at different spots here. I worked on the tabs on the lower part first, and once I got those off, I was able to move it and bend it and lightly use the screwdriver, and it eventually popped off without destroying anything, because I didn't want to destroy the original windscreen in case I needed to use it, in case this doesn't work and I have to go back to the original one. So, and mostly I didn't want to break any pieces of plastic off of here, because this gets reused with a new windshield. And then next, I need to take off these grommets, and you can kind of pry them with a screwdriver, and they look like they're going to come off of here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and, since I only got one hand right now, I'll go ahead and take those apart. Okay, now I've got both of the grommet pieces from the original windshield. And then I was able to push the grommets, the rubber bushing and these grommets in without too much problem. I also wanted to mention that it does come with instructions, but they're fairly worthless because the instructions are for any of their windshields, not specifically for the KTM 390, which is, very different than the instructions that's listed. So like a lot of things that I buy for my motorcycle, the instructions are almost non-existent. But it's not that difficult to do, though. Okay, now it appears, because like I said, instructions don't really go into detail, but it appears that these two little clips hook in the bottom of this frame. That's the only area that clips. The old windshield had a number of areas that it clipped to, but the Puig only has clips on these two on the bottom, and then the two washers, grommets up above. Looks like that's the only two spots. Oh, I think in the middle here too. So the instructions did say that you have to kind of bend the plastic a little bit to get it to fit, so I'll go ahead and try that. Well, that was really easy to do. The plastic just fit really well right into there, and then put the two screws in here, and all that's left for me to do is to mount it on the bracket on the motorcycle, and it still has the locations. I can mount it up high or I can mount it low, and I think I'm going to mount it low just to try it. I measured the windscreen, and its height is about 8 inches taller than the stock windscreen on the 390 Adventure. Well, it is mounted. Very simple. Just fits right in with this one bolt. Uses the existing hardware on the bike, which I really like. I like too that I still can adjust it up to get even higher. Right now it's at its lowest spot. I'll take off this plastic gobbledygook here later after I take it for a test ride and see how well it works. Well, I'm riding on a busy secondary road. It's actually Oregon's Route 66, which I've done a video of. And I'm doing 57 miles an hour, the wind's blowing. I have no idea what the sound is going to be like on the recording until I get back home and listen to it. But usually I don't record at these speeds because it's hard to block the wind out. I don't care what kind of windshield you have. Alright, now I'm going at a much slower speed at, I'm going to take it down about 40 miles an hour. And so I do record at this speed, I'd say, sometimes. If I'm just riding a backcountry road, I'll be going 40 miles an hour, so be curious to see how this sounds. It is a little bit breezy today, not terribly breezy, but a little bit. I'll take the old Siskiyou Highway, one of my jaunts that I do oftentimes in my videos. We'll see what it sounds like and how the wind feels there. Alright, so what do I think of the windshield? I've only gone about 5-10 miles on it. I would say it is definitely an improvement over the stock windshield. The wind, I think, tends to buffet me more higher up on the helmet than right in my neck. Although I do still feel wind around my neck and my shoulders, so I don't know if it's just because the windshield's not very wide, it's somewhat narrow. And it's also curved. It's quite more curved than I thought it would be based on, you know, other motorcycle windshields that I've seen are a little more flat. This one's a little more curved, so the wind doesn't go up and over the top of my helmet. It kind of hits into the top of the helmet. So I'll just have to keep testing it, I guess, you know, try and see if it's an improvement. My initial thought is, yeah, I think it is. Is it worth the money that I paid? Probably, because it's really easy to install, and the stock windshield that comes with this bike is almost non-existent, so this definitely is a step up. I'd say that if I was really going to ride a lot at freeway speeds or 60 miles an hour and above, that yeah, you're going to want to get even a bigger windshield than this one, windscreen. But for the type of riding I do, this type of road, dirt and gravel, I think this will do fine. It's called a touring windscreen, although I think I can use it for adventure off-road riding as well. Well, that's about it. Just kind of a shorter video today about this new Puig touring windscreen. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time on one of my senior moments.